Hello everyone, it's Karen with Close to My Heart, and today we'll be building a layout using our Falling For You paper packet, and I'm excited to see how it turns out with you. There's a few things that I knew before I even started. Number one, I knew I wanted to use these two beautiful pictures of my granddaughter Livy. Livy, about a year and a half ago, was diagnosed with leukemia, and both of these pictures were taken a year apart. This one on the left, and you can see she has no hair there, was last September 2016, and she had just lost all of her hair, and it was a really rough time of her treatment. And the kind of leukemia she has, that treatment lasts about 2.5 years. We are about 6 months from being done, and this photo was taken this September, 1 year after this one. And I remember how this felt, how we felt as a family when this picture was taken, and how we feel now, and seeing how well she's doing and responding. And I was looking at a whole stack of photos the other day and saw these two photos, realized they were a year apart, and knew immediately I wanted to do a layout that told that story, where she's come and how hard she's fought, and the difference in how she feels and who she is right now. I printed them in black and white because you can't tell in black and white that in this photo she was in more fall clothes, and in this she was still hanging on to summer, and the colors in the photos didn't match at all. But by printing them black and white, I brought some continuity to what I'm going to do on this layout. I also know I want to do a single page layout because I just have these two photos and feel like trying to do a 2-page spread with them would be just a little bit too much. As I thought about these photos and the fact that they were both taken in the fall, I chose to pull out our Falling For You paper packet and decided that would be a really great way to go on this layout because it is about something that happened in the fall. And I also knew what I wanted to call this layout. I wanted to call it 1 year later. And so that's one thing I prepped before we started here, was I used our alphabet thin cuts, which I love and use a ton. If you were to go through my scrapbooks, I think you'd see probably one out of about every 5 layouts has a title made with these great thin cuts. And they come with the whole alphabet. So as I looked at this paper, I kind of thought ahead of time, I really want my title to be out of this really subtle stripe. So let me move these down a little bit and you can see a little better. I have already cut out 1 year later so that it's ready to use on my layout. And knowing that, I pulled out my Make It From Your Heart pattern book and went through and looked for some patterns. And even though most of the patterns, in fact I think all of the patterns in this book are 2-page spreads, I knew that I could probably find something that would work for 2 photos and just use half of the layout, and this layout fit the bill perfectly. So I've chosen to use the left side of this pattern, pattern number 3, and you can see right here it has the diagram of the layout and each of the cuts that I need to make. So my next job then is to choose my papers, and I think that it's an important thing to remember that although pattern books are awesome and I use ours all the time, you don't always have to be 100% literal. I love this paper right here, and I know I want to use it, and I really love the look of a pattern paper as a base of a layout or a page, but maybe so you only see the edge of it. And the pattern doesn't actually do that, but I'm going to do that in this layout. So I think I'm going to already know that I want to choose this great pattern right here as something that's going to be near the base or the base of my layout, and maybe put some white on top of it. I really like how that looks poking out, but I'm going to think about that just a little bit. I think I'll choose the other papers that I really want to use. This layout has 3 stripes that go across a pattern paper. So if I pull back in these patterns that I have to choose from and look at my photos at the same time and know that I want to use this gold pattern, I'm kind of drawn to this brown. I really love it. And I actually really love that zip strip, so maybe I'm going to try and use both of those. I need something to set my title on. It goes on one of the stripes, so maybe this would work. Maybe this would work. This gray might be really great too. I don't know, we'll think about those three. And then I really want a stripe that has a larger pattern too, so that I'm bringing in different scales and colors of pattern. And I think rather than this one, which I feel like is maybe a little too big for what I want, I think I'll go with this smaller autumn floral. Plus I just feel like it's feminine to go with these pictures of a sweet little girl. So I'm gonna pull these papers out. I also, just for fun, pulled out some of my basic fundamental papers. And as I look through those, I see one that it's really standing out to me. I'm really loving this kind of light almond color with those. I feel like it softens it just a little bit. So maybe, looking at it with this, maybe I'd actually rather use this almond as my base and bring some of this white in a different way. I still love that little hint of pattern poking out. So let's see what I come up with. I think I'm going to start with this as my base. And maybe I'll take this white and cut it about an inch smaller. We'll go 11 by 11. And then take that gold that I love so much peeking outside the edges of the white, and see if we can make that happen on this pattern. Let's see how that looks on top of this almond. I'm actually really liking that, so I think we'll go that direction. So I've got this 11 by 11 piece. I think we'll go 11 1/4 by 11 1/4 with this awesome gold print. Let's see how that plays together. Oh, I'm really loving that look. So I think I even feel confident enough that I'm going to glue that down. Because I'm putting this little centerpiece on the layout, I feel like obviously those stripes, I don't want to go over the top of the edges of this center mat that I'm creating. So I'm just going to shorten the strips that I cut of these other papers just a tad bit so that they sit against the edge of this. So they're each, let's see, I think there's two that are 2-inch strips. And so I'll start with this as a 2-inch. And use my brown as a 2-inch, maybe, or gray. No, I think I'm going to go with the brown because that gives me the option of maybe bringing in that zip strip that I love so much. So maybe I will cut this 3-inch one in both gray and green and see which one I like better for under the title. Alright, let's go back. I also am wondering how it would look if I backed these photos in that cute gold to tie it in. So maybe I'll try that too. If I were to have that backed on gold with some strips that I just cut. Let's see which one I like the title on better. I'm really liking that green. I like the gray too. You know, I think I'm going to go with the green because with the gray in the photos, maybe it'll be a little bit better contrast. And let's see how this looks laying on there with this gold pattern paper mat under it. I like that. I feel like that's bringing this gold color in, and maybe I can accessorize a little bit with that too and have that be the focus color here. So I'll cut myself a couple of mats out of that. And we'll need to shorten these strips a little bit. My center mat's 11, so I think I'll go with maybe like a 10 1/2 and see how that works. Okay. I'm liking it so far. Let's see what happens when we put Livy on there. That's the real test, right? I love it already, and maybe that's because I love this little girl so much. But I think it's looking perfect right now. And if we add our title on here, let's see how that's looking. Really like that so far, but I'm feeling like there's a little too much space right here, so maybe we could do some fun things right here with some paper or a zip strip. I'll just plan on that. Let's go ahead and adhere what we've got so far. Put our little Livy on here. That was a little crooked. We'll fix it. I'm liking that. I'm liking just that hint of the floralist poking out, but that doesn't overwhelm the layout. So I'll go ahead and add my title. When I'm making a title line up on a certain edge, like we are on the right edge here, I always like to make sure that I start gluing there so that it ends up exactly where I want. So that's a little backwards, I guess, but for me, that helps it end up where I want it to be if I start on the side that it lines up with. So if I were lining up over here, obviously I'd start with the O, but with it lining up on the right side, I'm going to work backward with my letters. Like I said earlier, these are thin cuts that we carry. They're great dies, and you can use them with almost any die cutting machine. Here at Close to My Heart, we have a Cuddle Bug that, as a hostess, you can get for a really great deal. And so that might be one you'd want to consider if you want to host a gathering and get that little machine. It's perfect for our die cuts. Okay, 1 year later. Like I said, I feel like this is a little blank, and I really loved that zip strip on the brown, so I think maybe I'll try it here and see if I like that look. I like that a lot. Somewhere under all this mess, I have some scissors hiding, I think. I'll just add a little dovetail to the end, and here's a dovetail trick for you. Just cut a little notch right in the center of your piece and then work from the outside edge in, and you have a nice little dovetail. I'm going to add a little adhesive here, and I like that, but it still feels like it's kind of a little bit on its own, so maybe I will bring in a tiny bit more of this gold that I'm loving so much and tuck it under a little bit. Fill that space a little more. See how I like that? Yeah, I do like that, so I'm going to tuck it under the bottom of it though. I like that idea better. And that's why I never put a ton of adhesive on anything to begin with, because I always want to be able to move things around a little bit, make sure that it is what I'm hoping for. I'll just angle cut that one and add that on. Yep, I like that a lot. So now I need to tell the story. And one of the things I love about our paper packets is they come with sheets of Picture My Life cards, or as we like to call PML cards, and there's a great journal one right here, although I'm actually wondering if I want to make this into a pocket and tuck my journaling underneath. So if I do that, I don't want my card that direction. The nice thing is on the back side, we have the same cards going the opposite direction. And So I think I'm going to add my journaling to this card right here and maybe make that into a pocket. So to do that, since I've already glued it on, I'm just going to cut another piece of paper that's about the same size as the one that's on there. And I had made a 4x6 mat, so that's what I'll do again. Take this up. We'll glue it to this one since the back of this one's already all sticky. And then this time I'll be smart and only add adhesive to the 3 sides of this photo so that I can tuck some journaling underneath. That leaves me a pocket right here, and I can just hide my journaling there. Also, I wanted to pull out and use a little bit of the complements that match our Falling For You paper packet. And I think this is an especially awesome set because it's got so many great things in it. It's got these badge buttons that are fun and matchy, a lot of chipboard craft cut pieces. Maybe I'll pour a few of these out so that I have some to choose from. I really like that, especially since I brought in this lighter almond piece. I think these will look really great on it. So we'll see what comes out of here. There's lots of florals and there's some great acorns and leaves and things, which I'm really actually liking those. We'll see what we've got here. Maybe some acorns. And let's look at the stickers and see what I have to choose from there. Well, grateful's awesome because we are totally grateful that Libby's doing so well, but I've already got my title on there, so obviously I won't be using this one. But this sticker right here, I'm not sure if you can see it very well. I'll read it because I think it might be just perfect. From the tiniest acorn grows the mightiest oak tree. Now I'm going to cry because this little girl is one mighty little oak tree, and I think that would be perfect. A little great accent right here down in the corner. So I know I'm going to use that. And here's a trick. I actually think I might want to pop this up a little bit. Doesn't that look great right there? And so to do that, this is really sticky, and sometimes if you don't add 3D foam tape to cover your whole piece, you've got middle parts that are sticking down. So I always like to rub it on my clothes just a little bit so that not quite as sticky, and I can be a little better about adding some adhesive that is a pop-up 3D foam tape to the back without it wanting to touch down between pieces. So I think I'm going to add that right here. Couldn't have been a more perfect sentiment to go with this layout. That was nice and lucky. And since this is talking about an oak tree, maybe I should use some of those oak leaves. So let's see what we've got here. Here's a few oak leaves. Yeah, I really think that looks cute right there. Maybe I'll think about that for a minute. What else have we got in here? Oh, here's a nice big one. Maybe I could do something fun with that here to create a little bit of balance. Maybe I want it behind the, Awesome. There is also this great leaf. I think that would look good there. I think I'm going to go that direction. We're going to use this oak leaf here. I'm going to tuck it under that title just a little bit to frame it, and I think this leaf would look great with it. Cut off my stem so that it's not showing. Oh, I like that. So we'll add these oak leaves down here. And maybe we need a few more little accents. We'll have to play with. Oh, I could use this, maybe this acorn. That kind of goes with my saying. I actually think I like it right there. This layout is coming together really well. I'm really happy with it. So like I said, I'm going to journal on a journaling card for some hidden journaling. And so I will quickly do that. maybe it would be extra cute if I layered it a little bit with this piece that brings in that nice almond color. I think that's what I'll do. I think I'll layer this right here like this. And we'll plan on it being right there. And now I just feel like it maybe needs a little bit of something right here and right here. And there's one other set of accessories that is great with this kit. I love how Close to My Heart coordinates things, and there are some matching sequins. So I'm thinking the sequins would look really great on here. There's dark brown, there's kind of a bronze, and two different golds. And I'm actually really liking this bronzy color. So I think that I will maybe add a few here in the corner, just to give it a little more balance to the layout. And they are adhesive, so you can just put them right on your layout. I like that. That feels to me like it's getting a little more balanced. And maybe a few here by my oak leaves would be good. Yep, I really like that. I think we're about there. I'm looking to see if I feel like there's anything else I want to add to this layout. I would love a little hint of bling right here, but I don't see anything left in this set that I really want to use. And that's why we all have a stash, right? I think there's some gold foil, gold glitter. In fact, I know there is in our adventure complements that goes with our adventure fundamental papers, and I love that what we carry is so coordinated that you can mix and match. I'm just going to see if there might be some bling in this gold that would just be a great finishing touch to this layout. So I'll pour that out too, and we can look a little bit, see what there is. I love bling. I think most of us scrapbookers are bling lovers, but I also don't want to get carried away. So see what we've got here. There's, no, I think that's probably too much. What about, oh, maybe these would be perfect. If I added just a few little hearts, I think I'll cut this border apart and just add a little bit of bling here. I like it right there at the top of that photo. Maybe a couple there, or I like them right there. We'll take two and put them right here. And then I feel like maybe if I took a couple and added them right there beside the journaling, then I'd have just enough bling on this layout, I think, and it's ready to go ahead and journal on and add that story that I told you about Libby and all the changes that have happened in this last year and who she's become fighting this cancer. We're so proud of her. If you like this layout and the products I used, you can find all of them through one of our consultants at closetomyheart.com. So we invite you to find one and join us in the creative adventure.